In the 16th century, the border region between Scotland and England that surrounded the valley of the River Esk was known as the Debatable Lands. It was dominated by powerful families loyal only to themselves. Most of the tower strongholds of those families now lie in ruins, but one still stands proud, welcoming visitors from all over the world. Welcome to Gilnockie Tower, the ancestral home of Clan Armstrong.
The tower is between the 14th century and the early 16th century. It was fairly active from the early 16th century with the Armstrongs, we know that. Up to the middle of the 17th century, it became a ruin. To the middle of the 20th century, it was converted into a home. That home was a mother, a father and 3 boys. The building remained a home up until 1995 when the current owner, Colin Armstrong, a businessman, bought the tower as the family residence for the Clan Armstrong. From 215 up to 219, the building was re-renovated into a visitor centre. It was in a not too good condition after much heartbreak, many tons of timber. We managed to convert the building into what we wanted, a visitor centre for the home of Clan Armstrong.
These days, the landscapes and castles of the borderlands are peaceful. But there was a time when this area was lawless and bloodthirsty. Say hello to the Border Reivers.
It was very fluid. Everybody's got this idea of English and Scots. Depending on what they were doing, if they were having a problem, they would sometimes marry across the border. They would intermarry an English Reaver family with a Scottish Reaver family to stop the problems. They would also join together English and Scots, or Scots and Scots against a Scot, or English and Scots against an English, or English against English, English and English against the Scots. They were not keen on getting into feuds because it ended up never ending. If somebody killed their brother, they would come across to kill their brother, then they'd come back and kill another brother, and it would go back and for it. And they tried hard to stop that. They call it the Debatable Lands, but they were only debatable amongst themselves. The English king and the Scottish king used them as a buffer zone. That's what they were for hundreds of years. The only way you could come through the border areas, English side or Scottish side, was with an army. If you came through 20, 30 strong, you would maybe survive, but you would have nothing left. They would stop you and either kill you and take your money, or just rob you.
And of course, towers like this played a vital part.
They were the mainstay. They were families rather as clans. They were not clans where you get further north. They were families. Douglases, Moffats, Stuarts, Armstrongs. They were all big families, but you get the idea that there was huge families, but they weren't. They would protect. They would have under the bigger family, like the Armstrongs, would have smaller families underneath their protection, and when they went reaving, they would be called on. That's how they could get as many. You would never get 3,000 Douglases or 3,000 Armstrongs. There'd be a lot of mix. There would be their friends or other reaving families that would join them. To get 3,000 fellas all the same name, you're pushing it a bit. Even nowadays, you're pushing it. In a small area anyway.
There are certainly more than 3,000 Armstrongs these days, but only one has set foot on the moon and climbed Gilnockie Tower.
The building was certainly not in the condition it's in at the moment. There was only the spiral staircase up and a scaffolding arrangement on the top. He went up to look over the valley where his family were alleged to have been brought up. Neil was very proud of his family heritage and thought much of the Clan Armstrong as an organisation. Our president of that time, Ted Armstrong, managed to get in contact with NASA, and an arrangement was made to have a copy of Neil's boot print to be made. And here on the lower shelf of our display is Neil's boot print, Neil's spare boot print. The original boot is still on the moon. And we're very proud to have this. What we have here is a lunar tartan rug. The lunar tartan was designed in Langham by Ian Maxwell, who has a weaving company in the town. This was presented by him to Janet Armstrong back in March 1972. Janet held this as an important part of her ongoing life, and the rug came back to Langham in September 2022. It came back to be repaired because it has a slight damage in the centre there. But Ian Maxwell advised the family that it'd be best to be left because that was Mother's rug. This is the rug that was presented to us. It was actually presented to Tom Jack. We're very proud to have this on loan. What we have in front of us here is a series of maps. The project was taken on by our Sunday Monday guide, our senior guide, Tom Jack. And what Tom has done is he's identified where all the visitors come from. Now then, here we have a worldwide map. The UK is absolutely covered, and this is something new, or relatively new, that happened last year, is to have as many from the UK. We then move into America. You can see the states are covered with pins. The map shows that we get them from worldwide destinations. At the moment we're in around the 600 different destinations that people have travelled from to come and see the Clan Armstrong Centre.
Now, of course, you don't have to be an Armstrong to enjoy this beautiful corner of Scotland, but if you do happen to be an Armstrong, then this is a pilgrimage that you really shouldn't miss.